In this video, I'm going to be going over tips and tricks on how to not rage and tilt and ways of bettering yourself so that you're not doing these things anymore. I just want to let you guys know that if anyone was a bigger rager, it was definitely me. I would scream at everyone and blame all the people in the world before I thought about myself. I've came a long way in the past few years, and I've analyzed pros and studied tips and tricks and wrote them down to tell you guys in this video. I want to explain to you guys the reasoning behind it so it motivates you to stop raging. Once you guys fully understand the reasoning, then I'm going to go over a recap of all the tips I mentioned in the video at the end of the video. 80% of people that watch my YouTube videos are not subscribed to my channel, so if you guys can do anything before you watch this video, just hit the like button and the sub button for the one time, because it really does help me out and I'd appreciate it a lot. For anyone who comes and watches my streams, you guys know that I'll never rage when I die and just chalk it up to a GG and move on throughout what I'm doing. To anyone who's looking to really get better at whatever game they're playing, not only just Fortnite, this goes for every single game you play, whether it's now or in the future. Being good at a game requires not just to have mechanical skills, but IQ skills and overall thinking skills as well. There's more than just a few things that go into becoming a pro, which I'm sure you guys all know. One of the main things that sticks out to me is their mindset throughout the games while they're playing it, no matter what situation happens. For example, if you're ever in an end game and you're rotating and you get shot, there's a lot of people that might start complaining and raging and instantly find ways to get mad at the game. This causes the overall morale of not only your team if you have one, but yourself as well to go down. Whenever you start complaining, it puts negative thoughts in your head, which causes you to start being more negative about the overall situation. Therefore, you're almost putting failure in your mind. Thinking positively will impact your game at a really high level because it gives you a strong sense of faith that you're capable in getting a win no matter what the outcome is. If you can't believe that you're gonna win in any point in time throughout the game, then you're probably gonna not win. Mindset is literally everything over a video game and in real life as well when it comes to other sports. So if you're raging constantly or complaining to your teammates or just saying stuff that doesn't need to be said or screaming in someone's ear, this is me trying to tell you that the deeper you get into these games, whether it's real life or even in games, it's going to be really difficult for people to play with you and just be on your team and try and compete with you at a high level because you're constantly bringing the morale down. Now, I'm not trying to start rumors, but there is definitely a lot of pro players out there right now, or maybe even a couple months back, that have dropped their duo simply because of the attitude they bring when they play games. If you guys can't get along with your teammates and you find that you're constantly complaining, this is the biggest step to realizing that you need to get a new duo partner or trio partner. Throwing out constructive criticism is completely different, but constantly complaining about how you died or what you did to get yourself in that situation in the heat of a game while your partners are playing, it's going to be really difficult for them to want to play with you and keep playing with you, and for them to wanting to get better, because when they hear you coming up with excuses, they're going to want to come up with excuses, and it's going to be a never-ending blaming the game session. One of the realest ways anyone can get better is by becoming more mature whenever you play games and not raging and forcing yourself to become a more positive player. That way you'll be able to support your teammates in a way that they find helpful for themselves, because they're probably stressed out while they're playing as well. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can happen that will make you go crazy, but the biggest thing to keep in mind is to point out things that's actually going to help your teammate, and don't just go on rants when you die because it's going to cause too much commotion and get them mad themselves. Whether your teammate is not one to rage or they are, they're never going to want someone who's negative and constantly complaining on the game that they're on. It brings bad vibes and poor energy to the team and the morale of everyone else on the team, and it will probably cause them to play worse since they're not amped up to play. Imagine if everyone that played basketball before the game started told the whole team that they suck and that this game sucks and the basketball was deflated and that their centers are too small. It would literally just be a mess and no one would be at their full potential because they're thinking negatively the entire time before they play. Everything I just mentioned so far is the number one reason why you guys should force yourself to not tilt or rage. Everyone gets mad when they die, but the thing is to not freak out while it's happening. There is plenty of times where I get pushed in a solo or a duo and I die and I want to rage, but I hold it in a good way. I'm not holding it in with veins popping out of my forehead and screaming at my teammates for not coming to my rescue. If I want to discuss something bad that my teammate did, I'll approach him in a calm manner and point out exactly what I think he did wrong and tell him a way that he could help, or maybe we can do it better next time. That way we can start a conversation in a constructive manner where we're both going to learn from it. If you just start attacking your teammate and raging or raging at yourself, it's going to cause you to think negatively every time you're on the game, and you're never going to be able to get to your full potential because you're such a pessimist. Thinking negative more than positive is a bad thing because it puts the idea of failure in your mind, which causes you to perform worse. Think of the reason why pros are in Discord calls with their friends and other pros that they know when they're playing the competitive events in Fortnite. Obviously, they might be bored, but there are some times where their friends are watching them on their stream and they're encouraging them and pointing out things that are going to help them do better. Imagine if he was being negative while he was playing, and then they would all hate him, and then they would just probably leave the call and they would never invite that kid back. When you have a positive friend group who supports you and does things that's going to help you feel better about your confidence, it's going to make you feel more confident, it's going to make you want to play with them, and it's going to make you play better. Now, I'm not saying you got to go suck up to your teammates and encourage them in the most bland manner possible. I know it sounds cliche, but just doing small things and saying small things and not really stroking their ego will help them out and help you out, because it brings positivity to the overall vibe of the call or the team or the game that you're currently playing. Imagine if you need 1 point to qualify for money and someone beams you as you're tunneling into zone. Are you going to start complaining and whining the second you box up, or are you going to make the best out of the situation that you're currently in? Notice how whenever pros are in a really bad situation with a lot riding on the line, they aren't complaining how they got there, because that does nothing good for them. A positive thinker tries to think of creative ways and plays to get themselves in a better situation so that they can come out on top. This is the mindset that a pro has, because the second you start complaining, you're pretty much just gave up on yourself. You're wasting your energy complaining, and you should be focusing that energy on coming up with ways of getting better, whether that is of constructive criticism, reviewing your games, reviewing the way you got into that situation. There's millions of ways to practice getting better mentally. The first tip: when you feel like raging, just tell yourself that you need to be quiet. Understand that raging is not going to help you in any situation. Start out small by doing it every other time. Slowly reduce the amount you rage, and over time you'll be able to never rage at all. The thing that helped me completely get rid of the way I rage over games is the fact that one time I was playing with an older person who is now my close friend, and he told me straight up what happens. He told me that whenever I rage, it makes people not want to play with you. Even though you might be a cracked player, no one's gonna really want to play with you and have fun, because they can't even have fun themselves. That really clicked with me over time, because it made me realize that I want to actually have fun with playing with other people, and I want them to have fun with me. If they can't have fun with you, then they're not gonna have fun, and then you're gonna be the reason why, but you're not gonna think that, because you're gonna be constantly raging. This can get really confusing really quickly, but just understand that having that positive energy makes gaming so much more fun, and it might even make you get better, and on top of that, it's gonna make you more motivated to get online, because you're always thinking positive. If you ever die in a game, take it to the chest. You got worked, you got outplayed, whatever the case may be, the guy sucks. Don't even say anything, and just leave the game and go on to the next one. If you want to review it and understand how you died so you don't get in that situation, do that. But don't just start raging and complaining and going crazy and flipping out. There's gonna be so many people in the comment section saying, "Yo, Bean, what do you mean? Mongrel rages all the time. Benji Fishy rages all the time. This guy rages all the time." I understand that pros rage, but there's a very small percentage of pros that rage in a crazy toxic manner whenever they're on the game, because it's literally next to impossible to never rage on a game. Saying one or quick mumble here and there is completely fine, but don't go off on a tantrum, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Letting off some steam for a couple seconds is not the worst thing in the world, but when you make a habit of it, that's when it starts to become a problem. Every pro player that dies usually will chalk it up after like 3 seconds of saying something. They might say that this guy is trash, XYZ, but after 3 seconds, you don't hear them talking about it anymore. That's something that you need to keep in mind. You don't have to go from 0 to nothing, but you just have to slowly work your way down from never raging. But at the end of the day, understand that if you want to get better, then you need to stop raging. I'm going to go over a quick recap of the 5 tips that I'm going to tell you guys to stop raging and get better at not raging over time. Number 1, don't come up with excuses. Number 2, take it to the chest. Number 3, take a deep breath. Number 4, end the game off saying GG or good try, and then think about what you could have done better to not be in that situation. Number 5, know that you won't stop complaining in a week, because for me, it definitely didn't take that long, and it honestly might even take longer. Go day by day and have a gradual decrease in the amount that you rage each time you get on, and if you focus on not raging when you die, then it will help you. And a bonus tip is to think about what you say before you say it, and ask yourself, if someone else said it, would you want to hear it? If in any way, shape, or form that it sounds like you're complaining, then just keep it to yourself and just repeat it in your head and don't say it out loud. Now, I know this was a little bit of a touchy subject, but if anyone has any further questions, feel free to come to my Twitch chat, and you guys can see me not rage on stream. If anything, I do it for entertainment purposes, but it never gets too toxic. Most of the times I get my chat to laugh, and it ends up being really fun. Ever since Black Ops 1 came out a few years back, that was the game that made me realize that I need to stop raging. Don't forget to use code KenBeans in the item shop if these tips helped you in any way, shape, or form. Don't forget to hit the like button and the sub button for the one time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a good night. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Deuces, everyone. Peace.